So hi everyone, and welcome to this session regarding Telia ACE and Google CCAI. And the whole idea about this presentation is to let you understand what Google CCAI is and the challenges that it will help to bridge when it comes to operations and customers. And we're going to give you some showcase examples of pioneers. And it's going to be me, Fredrik Lemming, who will conduct the presentation today, together with my colleague Mathias Johansson. It's going to be like a relay team. So what we will talk about today is basically we're going to give you a short introduction to Telia. We're going to really understand sort of the challenges where we're coming from. We're going to talk about 3 macro trends. And that will give you an understanding of why this is so important to, try to bridge these gaps, and also using the technologies like AI and Google CCAI. And of course, obviously, we're going to give an introduction to the Google CCAI concept, and we will use that as when we use the use case example. We're going to use that on the platform that is called Telia ACE, which is a platform in our portfolio, but it could be any platform. Of course. And then we're going to give you at the end 2 pioneers, how they have tackled some challenges that they are facing with the help of Google CCAI. And then of course, we're going to do a short summary. So that's the topic of today. And I will start the introduction. And this is a Telia company in brief. Telia company is a wholesale telco, pretty much like Deutsche Telekom, the incumbent one. We have a B2C and a B2B offering, and we are active mostly in the Nordic and the Baltics, but are moving into Europe mainland when it comes to our contact center offering. And also as we're a global player with our carrier side that are channeling pretty much like 40% of all the internet traffic of the world. So you could say that it's thanks to Telia that we are having this conference today. So 3 macro trends that will impact consumers' expectations and also customer service strategies. And many of these are well known to you, but we just want to bridge this in a context. So individualization is obviously one of the ones, and one part of that is it's from a customer perspective, it's on my terms, when, where, and how. And in order to cater for that, we supply them with different channels, and it's very important that we provide the channels that the customer wants. And of course, it needs to be a balance because we need to deliver the right service levels and also the right experience. Because from a customer perspective, it's also about understand me and my context. Customers are seldom interested in having a one-size-fits-all solutions, which is more practical from our perspective. And in order to really address this, we need to take the next step in order to communicating with customers. So just to give you one example with the IVR, we need to move away from the menu choices IVRs that often reflects how we are internally organized to move into more conversational IVR, where the customer with their own words explaining their inquiry and what they are looking for, and then it's up to us to really understand the intent. It's all about understanding intent in order to deliver the best appropriate service. And that needs to be implemented in all the channels above. So you need to balance these 2 dimensions. And then the other macro trend is digitalization. And everyone, if you are politically correct, are claiming that you are data-driven and all decisions are data-driven. And hopefully also insight-driven changes. The challenge here is that we are saturated with data points. So it's pretty much like when we are trying to drive an actionable insights from all the data points, we are looking for the needles in the haystack. And it's very time consuming and it's very hard, and we don't really get up to the speed that is required for a real-time operation as a customer service operation is. So of course, we can zoom in to use the AI to really help us move from months to days and maybe to hours to do these insights. And another trend when it comes to digitalization is that digital labor is disrupting. And the reason behind this is that we are moving into more and more complex world, And of course, in order to mitigate that and cater for a very good work environment for our agents, we need to supply them with AI technology that helps them to find information faster and help them to ease up sort of complex processes and stuff like that. And of course, digitalization and robotics for other things are really important. So we need to redefine agents from not just being agents to become super agents in the future. And the last trend is voice is the new black, and voice is everywhere. And this is just an example. Since we are from Sweden, it's with pleasure sort of we are providing you with this slide from IKEA, which is lamps or bulbs that you can talk to and you can control. So taking that into relationship with individualization. So once again, most likely another interaction point will be you will not call to fix your TV. You will talk to the TV, and then the TV will be the entry point for that sort of engagement. And that brings us into the conversational part and this intent-driven attributes that we were talking about within the individualization trend. And then, of course, a backdrop to that is maybe now lamps will not be the next channel for a customer service operation, but there are emerging channels that are very close and tangible to reach out for. And we will show you at the end one of these cases. And it's about all the smart speakers that will basically really be very close and will lower the threshold to get in contact to an operation. So 3 macro trends that will, for sure, I mean, color our future, and we need to relate to this when we are planning our strategies. So, Telia's CCAI strategy and Google CCAI. I mean, how do we combine this? And this is how we, as a company, as an operator, customer service operator, are thinking about our contact center AI strategy, and also as a supplier. And we will combine that with the Google CCAI. Just to give you a backdrop what CCAI is all about, it's just 5 partners that are OEM partners globally, and we are one of them, so we are of course very happy with that. And these partners have access to exclusive functionality. And of course, the other partners that can use parts of this functionality, and some of the functionality is not available for partners. But it's just 5 global partners. So what is this functionality that comes in the CCAI concept? And this is what it looks like. And this is what we like about Google CCAI. It's that it sits on the Google CCAI conversational core. And from that core, you could access with one integration and one concept 3 sort of main components of the CCAI stack. And the first one is the virtual agents. And that is to provide customers with the immediate conversational text and voice 24/7, self-service for common issues. And could relate to voice bots, text bots, and all run on the sort of powerful NLU and NLP functionality within the Google CCAI stack. And the next one is the Agent Assist. And this really is an exclusive functionality for the Google CCAI concept. And that helps live agents, in real time with assistance and suggestions while in conversation. And really this digital butler that is addressing and helping agents to tackle sort of a more complex future to make it less complex. So I think this will be a key component in going ahead in the future, really to boost agent productivity and really address the challenges of having agents that are not staying long enough. As of today, for the Nordic languages, the agent assistant not available. It's under development, so we haven't tried it out yet, but we of course see this as a natural part of our strategy. And then of course it's all about insight, using the number crunching capabilities of the Google concept to really draw very good and clever conclusions out of all the data points that we are having. So this is basically the CCAI stack. But this needs to be put in a strategy and in a context. And first of all, we need to think about a consumer strategy. How are consumers thinking? And this, of course, is a very high-level approach. But still, I mean, it's really important that we are not thinking inside out, or are a tech-savvy company that really want to implement cool technology. We really need to listen to the customers, and this is how customers on a high level are thinking. They are dividing their strategies, not sort of intentionally, but this is how they are acting, and this is a way for us to figure out how we can address this. That customers are happy to be in the self-reliance zones. They're happy to use online services, and they're happy to have this approach. I can do it myself. There's a lot of benefits. It's on their terms. They can do it when they like, when they want. And so far, we have been hopefully careful about sort of the solutions that we provide. So we have a high resolution rate. So often it results within simple inquiries. And that could be provided over different sort of functionality and technology. And the next section, still, it's all about the willingness to really do things by themselves, but it's more in the assistant zone. And the approach is more like, let's do it together. And sometimes it's a bit more complex tasks. So it's a medium complexity. So you need a bit of guidance, and hopefully we can learn customers to use our services and understand them, and then they can run them themselves. And here we can provide different technology and functionality in order to really deliver on this strategy. And then you have the live zone, when customers are thinking more like, well, please do it for me instead. And then really results in engaging with a live agent, and that resides within sort of the complex tasks. And what happened is that, of course, here we need to balance this with sort of the strategies that we are having. The most beneficial for us is if all inquiries could be in the self-reliance zones, but that is not the case. So customers are not sort of fixing the problem, moving down, and what we can do here with the help of AI, we can help them to bring them back up again, to give them a better customer experience, and at the same time reducing our cost. So this is the potential that we see in consumer strategies. And I will do the last slide now, and this needs to be balanced with, of course, our strategy as a company. And this is Telia's strategy when it comes to customer service, and also the leading Nordic customer service operation. It's all about sort of keep customer in self-service, or keep customer online, maybe you could say. And it's about optimized contact center, and it's about remove root cause for interaction. And everyone is trying to achieve an enhanced customer experience. But if you do this from an inside-out perspective, it's going to be enhanced company experience. So what are the challenges here? And when it comes to self-service, I mean, the self-service and information is insufficient, and it's very hard to find. And if customer can't find this in the self-reliance zone, they will move into another zone, and it could go straight away to. In order to understand this, we need to take actionable insights and analyze why they are moving away from this zone. And of course, we can use these insights, and we have the data, but no efficient way to gain actionable insights. And when it comes to optimized contact center, which is in the assisted or the live zone, it takes time to train agents. Information and knowledge not easily available, and processes are complex and time consuming. So given that in perspective, that the future will be more complex, and we have a challenge with attrition rates, we really need to do something. And here, one thing that we could really help us on this path is to implement AI. So I want to know, Mathias, what kind of AI technologies would be suitable for such a strategy, both from a company and a consumer perspective?
We obviously there are many kinds of applications of AI that address different needs in the customer service, for customer service. But I'm going to show you what our strategy looks like in terms of what focus areas we are working on, because these are the kinds of applications of AI that we believe can bring a lot of value both to our contact center or B2B customers, but also to their end customers, and obviously to our end customers when we act in the capacity of being a provider of services, being a telco. So as Fredrik said, you can look at strategies from two different angles, basically. Both the consumer angle, you know, how do they want to interact with us? Do they want to fix things on their own, or do they need help? And obviously, it's the correlation between the complexity of the errand or task is what drives the choice of basically contact method or channel. So we need to understand that. We need to understand that we should help and improve self-service as much as possible to cater for the need of self-service, and focusing on the, you know, starting with the simple tasks and moving on to the more difficult ones. But I don't think we should trick ourselves in believing that we can automate anything. I mean, AI has made enormous progress, but there is still a need and a desire for some to actually have a human conversation, and we need to cater for both of these sort of endpoints on that scale. So I'm going to give you a short explanation of 4 major areas of AI applications for customer service that we want to be a vendor within. The first one is AI for knowledge applications. With this, we mean to enable a common brain or a common source for knowledge. So, you know, knowledge that can be retrieved through natural language inquiries. And this knowledge base, if I may say so, can be curated and uncurated data. With curated data, we mean the quality secure data that sits in a knowledge base, basically, and with uncurated or unstructured data, that could be information that resides in documents or on web pages or other places where information exists. But using AI technology to actually penetrate and surface the relevant answers based on customer inquiries. And these kinds of applications should be obviously used both to support agents and maybe other co-workers within your company, but also customers visiting your website, for instance, or calling your IVR. The second area of AI applications for customer service is what we call AI for conversations, and this is obviously where they have the conversational AI technology, enabling what we call virtual agents, voice or text bots, but virtual agents that should operate across channels and devices and also across customer journeys, so that they should be able to support the customer in a journey that extends over time, not only the sort of during the point interactions that customers may have. And they should obviously then work both in text and voice. The third area is what we call AI for analytics and insights, and this is all about providing good tools for customer operations to analyze all the data that runs through your contact center daily, call logs or call recordings and chat logs and emails and what have you, so that you can actually gain these precious insights from that data and start taking action based on that. So this is a very concrete application of different kinds of AI technology. And the fourth and final area is what we call AI and automation, basically. This is for agent assistance, and this is a combination of different technologies, both traditional RPA technology, to be more precise, what's often called attended RPA, meaning that we use RPA or robotics in a live situation together with an agent, but also some AI technologies that Fredrik briefly explained we get from CCAI, for instance. And this is about providing agents with knowledge when they need it, to guide them through different kinds of process steps that are needed to take when you're resolving a customer issue, for real-time, next best action and things like that. So it's basically a combination of different capabilities. these are the 4 areas that we focus on. As I said before, there are other areas where you can use AI in your contact center platform, but this is where our focus and our strategy lies. Fredrik, do you want to add something here?
Yeah, I'm thinking about this. Is it a big, I mean, everyone is talking about real-time application, and how big difference is it if you have a successful rate or a hit rate, you know, providing someone with 90% accuracy or 95% accuracy? Really understanding sort of what is going on in real time, analyzing what is being said, what is being written.
Obviously, it's a huge difference. I mean, if you have a good NLP engine and speech-to-text engine that can convert speech into text, and that you can maybe do some text analysis on, it all, you know, we know for a fact that you could do a lot with accuracy on the speech-to-text engine if you starting from let's say 60 or 70%, but obviously it's the number of false positives that you want to look out for, because 70% will give you 70% accurate information, but you will have 30% sort of garbage as well. So what I mean with that is that the time it'll take you to actually get to the true insights obviously is going to be shortened the more accurate your solutions are. And therefore it's important, we believe, to not only work with speech to text, for instance, for analytics applications, and then applying a text analytics engine to that, but we believe in having dual capabilities like phonetic indexing and things like that, because then you can get much more accurate results, you know, targeting sort of the 95 level of accuracy. But those are sort of technical details. There are solutions that can provide you with really, really good accuracy levels in the analytics and insights part. So let's move on. How do we then map these 4 initiatives or focus areas into the strategy that Fredrik walked you through? Well, obviously, knowledge and conversational applications are addressing the problem of sort of increasing or improving the self-service experience. Analytics and insights obviously goes down here. It's used for finding out the root cause for what we call unnecessary interactions. I mean, we're not using this to get rid of all manual interactions, but we're using it to get rid of the unnecessary ones, and also to continuously improve our operations on a both strategic and tactical level. Optimizing the contact center operations, if we have the appropriate knowledge at hand for our agents, so that they can provide our customers with the relevant and up-to-date and quality secured answers across all channels, that's going to obviously increase performance and quality. But if you also have agent assist capabilities, making agents' daily lives much better, we are going to optimize our contact center operations, both in terms of agent attrition, agent efficiency, cost, and the customer experience. There is a feedback loop here. I'm not going to go into this in very much detail, but it's important, because if we work across all of these areas, we can use whatever findings, whatever data, whatever best practices we get from one of these to feed into the other, and so get a positive feedback loop here, meaning that we will continuously improve in all of these areas. But it's not necessary to work across all of these areas, obviously, with AI applications, but if you do, you can have a very interesting success. So what is ACE and CCAI then? If you plot this into a sort of a map, the customer may contact you. The first point of contact would be the virtual agent in text or voice. At some point, the virtual agent may need to hand over the interaction to a human agent. This happens because the virtual agent may not be trained to handle the interaction, or there are some business rules that says this interaction needs to be handled by a human agent. But instead of dropping out of the call, the virtual agent will stay on the call and then be able to provide the human agents with real-time assistance based on an understanding of what the customer asks or says, information the customer provides during the call. By, for instance, surfacing relevant answers from the knowledge base to the agent, or by interacting with, let's say, an RPA robot that works side by side the human agent on the agent's desktop, by providing that robot with the necessary information that the customer gives us to to guide the agents through the processes, or maybe even to automate parts or whole processes. And finally, then feeding all of this data into the insights engine will help us get a real-time insight into what is happening in our contact center based on what customers are actually saying, not macro data, but what are the problems the customer are explaining to us. We will see that in real time, so it can be used both for sort of control tower visibility, but also as a place where we collect the data to improve the services. So wrapping up, I'm going to give you a very brief walkthrough of two pioneers, we call them. I'm not going to share any customer names here, but these are interesting pioneers working with CCAI currently. So the first one, they want to reduce incoming call volumes to customer service. They want to capitalize on previous investments done in their knowledge base. And they also want to explore emerging channels. By this we mean smart devices. So what they are going to use they are using the virtual agent currently in what they call the conversational IVR that they have to increase containment rates or self-service. They are making the knowledge base visible or accessible through the IVR, through the conversations that they're having with the virtual agent. They also are doing or have done a number of back-end integrations so that they can actually perform tasks and create self-service applications. So that's the IVR. They want to extend the same experience into the Google Home sort of ecosystem. Since we are then working with the contact center AI platform, we can sort of access the Google ecosystem of Google Assistant and whatever applications or devices you're running that through. So this customer wants to provide parts of their service delivery or service offering to their customers through these devices. And in doing so, they can reuse the same backend integrations that they created for the IVR, and also surface the same knowledge that they have encoded in their knowledge base also out in this channel. So the resulting setup will be a combination of these two different voice channels, but using the same virtual agent and the same backend sort of heavy lifting. Pioneer number two, they want to modernize the self-service and IVR experience and also improve their operational cost. Coherent experience across all channels is important for them. They want to capitalize on previous investments in knowledge base and chatbot, and they want to use secure identification of customer using something we call mobile bank ID, and they want to use this in both the chat channel and the IVR. So this company, this pioneer, is starting like the first one with running the virtual agent as part of their conversational IVR. Again, doing some heavy lifting in the back end, using mobile bank ID in the IVR for customer authentication, also surfacing knowledge from their knowledge base, their existing knowledge base through the IVR using the virtual agent and contact center AI. They are also then running the same virtual agent in the chat through the sort of chatbot widget. Again, backend integrations, customer ID and knowledge, and the same backend integrations as in the IVR, the same ID and V process and integration as in the IVR, and the same knowledge articles as in the IVR when appropriate, obviously. And their resulting setup that will then, look like this. They are today running virtual agents in both chat and IVR, and they are going to expand the use of the virtual agent further and further during the rest of this year and beginning of next. So these two examples, I'm going to finish off now by two guiding principles that we believe strongly in and this is sort of guiding us when we do product development. As you can see from these examples, they are building things once for different platforms or channels, and they are doing this because they want to reuse whatever investments they've done previously in, let's say, their knowledge base, but also because they believe that this is going to be the only way to provide a coherent experience for their end customers across all the channels that they provide. And second, very important principle for us is we believe strongly in providing and enabling ecosystems of services, meaning that it should be possible for our customers to create solutions that cater for their needs without having to build them from scratch every time. So mixing and matching different kinds of applications while still, honoring this idea of creating once or as few times as possible for as many as possible. And by ecosystem, we mean not only jacking into, let's say, ecosystems such as the Google Assistant, but also being able to provide our customers the ability to use applications, let's say a chatbot they already have in a holistic, in a total experience or an integrated solution as the ones that I showed you 2 slides back. So we can talk a lot about ecosystems, obviously, but this is our final picture. So with that, I'd like to say thank you very much.
We're happy to answer any questions.